Right, so Keir Starmer has been in South Wales over the last few days doing the showing his face thing ahead of a none too distant future general election. He's been at Port Talbot steelworks to talk about the future of steel under a future Labour government, green steel, all of that, but one other notable trip was to the South Wales Islamic Centre, a blatant attempt to appear to be on the side of Muslims, and certainly the pictures published by him implied they were very pleased to see him. So much so, in fact, that they felt it necessary to issue some context to that visit afterwards, in light of Starmer's blatant taking of sides in this most recent conflict and the decades-long oppression of Palestinians by Israel, and what really happened when he met some of them. Right, so Keir Starmer, whilst in Wales on his little flesh-pressing exercise, went to visit the South Wales Islamic Centre to meet with the Muslim community there, and given everything he has said publicly over the last week or so, from saying Israel has a right to withdraw water and power from Gaza, thereby advocating for a war crime to be committed, before backpedaling on it, saying he didn't mean that, to flat out denying he ever said it, so very much despite the LBC clip of him saying it still widely being circulated under the heading, "This is how much of a liar Keir Starmer is, watch with your own eyes, listen with your own ears." This was very much an obvious attempt at placating Muslims to whom great offence has been caused by him and his party up and down this country, and certainly not helped at all by his ban on showing solidarity with Palestinians and with Muslims at demos, whilst he clearly consented for one of his shadow ministers to address a pro-Israel rally, as covered in my last video. But here was a clear attempt to try and gain back some of the lost ground, see off any more councillor resignations, or worse potentially, and show he does care about the Muslim community, or rather, he cares about the political fallout he's created and is desperate to win back some brownie points. A tweet emerged with several glowing pickies from the event, shaking hands, smiling faces, everyone looking very happy, very pleased to see Starmer, with Starmer's accompanying text reading, "I was grateful to hear from the Muslim community of the South Wales Islamic Centre. I repeated our calls for all hostages to be released, more humanitarian aid to enter Gaza, for the water and power to be switched back on, and a renewed focus on the two-state solution." Now even this, he's managed to screw up though. He's given the impression there that he's gone to South Wales, he's spoken to some Muslims, and he's demanded they hand over the Hamas hostages. That's how it comes across. It's horribly badly phrased. It says nothing about what he might actually have spoken to them about, because clearly these people in South Wales do not hold Israeli hostages. From what I've been told, the community there in Cardiff are mainly, though I dare say not exclusively, are of Yemeni heritage. So seemingly he's not even addressed Palestinians here, not in the main at least. It's triggered a rather angry phone call into LBC, and the recipient of said call happened to be Starmer's chief minion, Wes Streeting. Oh, couldn't have happened to a nicer fella. Who was asked? "We as a Muslim community strongly feel that it's very one-sided. The media is biased and the politicians are biased. Keir Starmer, your leader, he went to Wales yesterday, and his tweet then says, 'I spoke to the community and I told them all hostages need to be released.' Why is that the Muslim community's fault? That's just Islamophobia. How is that acceptable? When you put something like that out in public, it damages relationships. The Muslim community is demonized and everyone says the Muslim community needs to do more. What about your leader, who's fueling this kind of division? It's not helpful. What do you have to say about that, Wes?" Well, exactly. It was another stupidly ill-thought-out comment from a man woefully out of his depth, who can't even pretend to be looking at this from both sides without putting his foot right in it. Well, Wesley tried to make out that Starmer was actually saying the complete opposite in the tweet, and then went into full damage limitation exercise mode by referring to other things Starmer had said in different places. But that is besides the point, Wes. He has caused offence, and you're trying to make out that the Muslim community are misunderstanding him here is insulting to them as well. The one thing Streeting said that I did agree with, though, was when he said it was not for Muslims here to apologise for or be held accountable for the actions of Hamas. That is completely right, not to mention should be bloody obvious. So when can we expect you to tell Starmer to take his tweet down and rephrase it then? That'll be the 8th of never, I expect. It wasn't only Muslims around the country ringing in about the offence caused here. The chap at LBC sounded like he was from the Midlands to my ear, but frankly he could have come from anywhere in the country. It shouldn't have mattered. That tweet will have caused further offence. Jay, for example, on Twitter said, "Why is Starmer telling South Wales Muslims to release hostages?" Samaya on Twitter said, "I could pull my teeth out in frustration. Who in South Wales Mosque is responsible for releasing hostages?" Black Lives Matter UK said, "Are hostages being held in South Wales Islamic Centre? Would Starmer have made similar statements about ending the siege in a synagogue? This is just wildly Islamophobic, and he is bragging about it." Mark Hebden said, "Can someone tell me why Keir Starmer demanded hostages be released to worshippers at the South Wales Islamic Centre? Does he think they hold some sway over Hamas, or is he just being racist and assigning responsibility for terrorism to the wider Muslim community?" And on it goes. Lots and lots of quote tweets. It's not gone very well for him. Aside from anything else, though, the South Wales Islamic Centre itself have felt the need to issue a statement following all of that, which says, clarification from the South Wales Islamic Centre regarding Keir Starmer's visit. Firstly, may Allah reward you all for your gira, zeal, and support for our people in Palestine. Secondly, it is best to face those whom we disagree with and show them the truth. What he, Starmer, mentioned recently is totally wrong and has offended us Muslims, which is totally unacceptable. Facing him is better than avoiding him. We raised our complaints and we criticised him for what he said. We told him that we reject this statement and that we do not agree with what he said, and that he is completely wrong, and what is happening to our people in Gaza contradicts the most basic rules of human rights. We asked him to put pressure on the government to allow humanitarian aid to enter for the people of Gaza and to stop these massacres which are happening in Gaza. We would like to make it clear that the Islamic Centre in Cardiff is fully supportive of our brothers in Palestine. All of our khutbah revolved around this topic, and we participated in the protests and supported them, and donations were collected over the past 2 weeks for their benefit. We also held a charity event that was entirely for the benefit of Palestine. We pray for their long-deserved freedom. So they had actually called Starmer out over his appalling and still not apologised for or retracted statement regarding the committing of war crimes by Israel in the form of withholding water and power. Funny that Starmer decided not to mention that, eh? He hasn't mentioned it since either, as instead of deleting his offensive tweet, he thought to add further context to it instead, like we needed more explanation to get where he was coming from, because of course he can't possibly ever be wrong. He said in his follow-up, and these came more than 24 hours after the original tweet, that I was questioned by members and I was deeply moved to hear their pain and horror at the suffering of civilians in Gaza. I made it clear it is not and has never been my view that Israel had the right to cut off water, food, fuel or medicines. International law must be followed. So he's still trying to deny he said what we all heard him say, even in the face of massive criticism and a response from the people he visited, who are also not fools, who know what he said, told him of the offence caused, and still he opts to pretend he didn't say it, to lie, but do the decent thing and just say sorry. I do expect more resignations to follow, and for God's sake, will someone get Starmer on an Islamophobia awareness course, because he sorely needs it. If this was Corbyn, we'd be seeing back-to-back news coverage with half-hour bulletins on it that we aren't, shows the media, as the extremely eloquent LBC caller made a point of saying as well, are just as Islamophobic and selective in what they choose to put out as news and what they choose to withhold. There's one final, very important point I want to make here as well. I've been made aware of as I've been writing this rant, and that was that the South Wales Islamic Centre has been on the receiving end of a lot of angry phone calls because of the fact that they met Starmer. And so some important context surrounding the nature of the visit has come out, courtesy of one of the imams there. The excerpts that I've had passed on to me, just as I was writing this, as I said, read, South Wales Islamic Centre did not invite Keir Starmer. He was in Wales and his people made a phone call to South Wales Islamic Centre expressing their desire to come and visit the centre. The imam did not know who Keir Starmer was before he met him at the South Wales Islamic Centre. He's Egyptian, can barely speak or read English, and doesn't follow local politics. He was also not aware of what Keir Starmer had said in support of genocide and war crimes. He wishes he had researched online before he agreed to meet him. Even if he had, he doubted that he would have found anything in Arabic, though. The imam was unaware that this visit would be exploited for propaganda and public relations. He was shocked when the angry phone calls started coming in from various communities, and disappointed to see how the pictures from the visit were being used by Keir Starmer on social media for propaganda purposes. He will ask the mosque committee to meet and draft another statement to clarify what happened and state South Wales Islamic Centre's position. And he cried as he explained that he would never betray Palestinians by associating or collaborating in the propaganda of anyone who supports war crimes and genocide against them. Keir Starmer, folks. No depths he won't sink to clear his name, as long as it doesn't involve an apology. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share and subscribe if you did. More content out daily. Please do have your say on this in the comments below and be part of the conversation here. Seems to me the story is not going to be one that is going to go away anytime soon. Meanwhile, here's a video recommendation where Starmer's issues on equalities continue to be a source of great shame on the Labour Party. He even recently managed to outdo Suella Braverman on the topic of LGBTQ plus rights. I'll hopefully see you on the next vid. Cheers, folks.